Hi, this is Tracy with QuickBooks from the Top. Today we're going to go over the online version versus the desktop version. I have quite a few people calling. They're not quite clear on what they want, but we're going to go over some of the features and what it looks like in the different versions. PC accounting versus cloud-based accounting is basically you are actually purchasing the program with the desktop version, or you are paying a monthly fee or subscription with the online version. When comparing the QuickBooks Online to the desktop, they are always referencing it as anytime, anywhere software. So that means that you can grab it if you're in a hotel room and need to log on. You can access and get your bank balances as well as do input. And then we also have the multi-user access. Most of the online version has 5 users and 2 accounting users, and then the Pro version of the desktop has 3, and the Premier, I believe, is 5 users as well. Then anytime you upgrade your desktop version, it does have a charge with that. But the QuickBooks Online just updates every time they have a new edition. It also goes over the QuickBooks Online product limitation, so it doesn't integrate with the point of sale, and it hasn't yet integrated with the online bill pay, but I feel that that's really coming probably within the year, and doesn't do complete job costing. I always say QuickBooks does 90% of what you want, and you still have to create reports outside of QuickBooks through Excel. And then the less flexibility with regard to customizing forms and reports, but any of the reports in the online version you can always move out to Excel. Now, again, this is QuickBooks offers here as far as the daily tasks made easier with the online version. And they're saying they give you the option to capture receipts on your phone, using less data entry, meaning everything's kind of automated, working anywhere, anytime. Again, this is if you have an internet connection, you can get on. They also have customer support at any time, and you can share your books with your accountant. You can also, which is really good for me because I have a lot of clients that use Macs and I use PC still, but this gives everyone an option. I can be working on the system as a PC and my client can open it up with his Mac. Again, you can use it on any of your devices as well. Now, as far as pricing goes, Simple Start system is just a basic income and expense online version. These are all online prices. The Essentials, probably a real common one used. I mean, the difference is it doesn't do the 1099 and track different projects like the Plus system, but the Plus pretty much has everything that you could possibly need in there. And you can always upgrade from Simple Start to Essentials to Plus as you see fit, or you feel like, all right, I need to have job tracking on projects. They also offer the self-employed, and that's just a basic. I could compare it to Quicken. An in and an out, not a lot of reporting or functionality as far as job tracking. You'll notice at the bottom we also offer the enhanced payroll. So along with the desktop version, the online version has a really very easy to use payroll. It will, at the push of a button, send off your quarterly reports for you, along with printing W-2s and 1099s. The desktop versions are, again, you're purchasing the program and you own the copy. So the Pro is, varies from $300 down to, if you can download the program as well, and I think they give you a discount for that. I've seen it as cheap as $100. And then you also have the Premier version, which really has some great inventory tracking and industry specific for construction, retail. And then you also have the Enterprise version, which is if you are using inventory at a cash register and you want everything as one unit. The Enterprise is the most flexible, and certainly 30 or more users on it at one time. Okay, another thing I wanted to mention is on the online version, you have to have the online plus in order to do inventory, and that inventory stock is FIFO on that instead of LIFO. So I just wanted you to all be aware of that if you are handling inventory. Now, as far as backing up, when you have the desktop version, it's not in the cloud. So if something happens to your laptop, your computer, ransomware, whatever it may be, you will not be able to recover that unless you've taken that backup through a memory stick, or if you have an IT person that has set you up on a daily backup. But you want to make sure you do that. QuickBooks does offer that. This is a Data Protect, and here's the number right here. This will back up your file, but you do have to be hooked up online in order for this to work. If not, the difference between the desktop and the online is the online you never have to back up, and your data is saved in, I believe, 2 copies of your data automatically every day. So I feel much safer having it in the cloud with Intuit's security on that. Here's a kicker to me. So the desktop version, if I have 5 companies, I can have 5 different desktop versions for the same price, because I have paid for my QuickBooks and I can have as many companies as I'd like in there. This is a big, big advantage when I have firms with, say, 5 to 10 businesses. So pay one price, $300, and you're able to run as many companies as you want through here. Okay, so the first thing we want to look at is the online version. So remember that you're actually going to this website, and this is your sign-in screen where you will have a user ID and password, and you will select sign in. Your company will open up as a dashboard here, and here's to the right your bank accounts and credit cards that keeps a running balance from a bank feed. Off to the side here, you can get to different activities for banking, sales, and expenses. And all the activities that you would do are through what they call a plus key. The plus key then opens up, and all your activities for customers, vendors, and employees. You also have the gear, which is to the right, and the gear is your admin tool. This is where you would go and do your reconciliations. You can import your data if you're coming from a desktop version. You also manage your accounts and users. And then just like the desktop version, you have a list of your products, reoccurring transactions, and any attachments. The banking opens up and it will show you what the bank balance is or the credit card balance in your account currently or a moment ago. And you'll also see what you have inside your register, because you may have written checks and your bank balance, of course, is not going to match your register. But what I'm really getting at is that you can actually go through this screen and be able to add all these transactions as they come through the bank. Saves tons of time, especially if it's just you in the office and you're self-employed and doing this along with whatever you're selling. And you'll notice once you have information in the system, the QuickBooks downloads from the bank recognizes, they go, oh, we show a deposit in there for a certain date and amount, and if it matches, they're going to ask you, do you want to match this transaction? That way you're not duplicating any information. If you've added a deposit in the system and it has not cleared yet, again, when it clears, it's going to come through the bank feed and you'll be able to match that. All the items you match go through your bank register for whatever checking account or credit card. Just like your bank register at home, you'll have your deposits and payments that you've made and your ending balance. Also, to the left, you can go over to reports, and all your reports are here. Your favorites, the ones you use most often, are available. You can customize reports and also have management reports that your managers could come in and they would have their own section in there that they would be able to run the sales report for the day on. Okay, and then you also have your business overview, which of course is your profit and loss and your balance sheet. I can go to my sales option on the left, and this is where I can see all my customers, all the sales that I've done by date. And inside each of my customers, I will have their invoices and payments. And the same would be for my expenses, and I would be able to see all my vendors and then all the bills and checks that I've written for my expenses. It also tracks sales tax from your invoices and shows how much that you owe at a certain period of time. And then again, showing you any payments that you've made, again, for a certain period of time. It has an employees section, and in here you were able to set up employees. It also keeps track of contractors for 1099s. Now we're going to look at the desktop version. From your desktop screen, you will select the QuickBooks and your user ID and password. The screen, again, this is a rich system. They originally started out with drop downs, and you would have a drop down and be able to get to the activities. Then they created the nice icons to lead you to the best case scenario for your activity, such as an estimate turns into an invoice. You receive a payment and you make a deposit. And then they said, no, we need one more place. So they created another shortcut sidebar over here where you can get to customer centers, vendor senders. You can able to have bank feeds come in through this shortcut window. But you can see all the activities in the desktop version are on the screens and the drop downs, where the online version was through that plus sign. Like I was telling you, that the customer drop down will come down, and this will give you the create an estimate, sales order, invoices, receive payments, and that is the same activity that you see over here. The vendor section is the same as well. The drop down will actually give you the activities that are showing on the vendor home page shortcut. The Employee Center in here has the drop down, and you can see at the bottom the same activities. Banking, again, the section right here is what I start training with. It's entering into your check register, making deposits, reconciling your account. And then the reports Very robust. There's a lot of reports to select from in here opposed to the online. If you need a lot of different reporting, then this would be the system for you. Now let's take a look at the shortcut over to your customer center. So your shortcuts here, it opens up what is called the customer center, and for each customer you can have multiple jobs in there. So for this one customer, they have the family room kitchen remodel. Here is where I can look at the history for the invoicing, estimates, payments, everything, along with keeping a nice database. Now the online version has this as well, but it looks a lot different. Again, you can see I can export the information out to Excel. They even give you the option for Word. And very powerful, lot of information going on here. Same with the vendor. When you're going down to the vendor shortcut, it opens up all your vendors and then the activities that go along with the vendor. And the employee information, as far as this section goes, there's a lot of activity if you're going to do your own payroll. They have, of course, entering the employees, looking at all the transactions, and then managing and scheduling your payrolls. In regards to the bank feeds, in the QuickBooks desktop, there usually, again, is a charge for it to connect to, say, a Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo Bank, I know, charges $10 to $15 to have those bank feeds come in, but most of the time, if you are on a desktop version, there's someone that's usually entering on a daily basis. So the bank feeds aren't needed as much because all the data is going into the system. Other than the online, it can come in through those bank feeds. You can use a desktop as well, but this is, mainly you've got an office with staff of 3 to 5, and they're all getting in here using their different departments. As far as some may handle invoicing, some may handle accounts payable. If you're a one-person office, again, you could use the bank feeds, but you want to make sure that you kind of do one or the other. In the bank feeds, it does give the option to download the transactions, and it looks a bit different than the online version. It's a little bit more clunky and not as seamless. The check register looks just like the online version. You go down to banking, or you can select your check register from the icon in the front, and it has your payments and deposit and balance just like the online version. We'll kind of look at a comparison. So the invoice in the desktop version, it has the bells and whistles up here along with the current transactions, the last time you emailed them, off to the right. And then we'll take a look at the online version invoice. Not as fancy. You can put a nice logo on this, not as many bells and whistles, but if you're selling one product, or a couple products, I mean, this is just really clean. It brings the product over. You can have customized fields in here, like this person wants to keep track of the crew or initials for commissions. Not as robust, but nice and simple and clean. The bill in the desktop version, you have, again, a lot of options at the top of the screen here to pay bills automatically. You can create copies and attach files, and you also have the history through here. The bill in the online version has pretty much all of that. At the bottom of the screen, there's usually a more key right here where you could memorize the transaction and make it reoccurring. I offer personal training, and I go over your books in your system and make sure everything is set up properly. I try to give you a template for a month, And if you are interested, I do those trainings on Tuesday and Thursday. Please email or call. And thank you for letting me help you make your decision. I hope that helped just a bit to give you a clearer picture of what might work best for your business.